Hey guys, Chicky DeMain, aka Deboo, Deboo.com with a Deboo.com surf forecast update. This forecast update effective around 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday, May 21st, 2015. And guys, I'd like to start off with a big thanks to all of those who have donated thus far. We've raised $1,170 of our stated goal. If you haven't had a chance to read our story, we'll put the link in the thread to the GoFundMe page and you can read it. Anybody making a donation of $25 or more will get one of our Deboo.com t-shirts and a sticker. I know that some of you had commented, don't worry about the t-shirt. No, guys, we're going to send them to you. Give us a little time. We want you representing Deboo.com out there for us. Here's the latest look at the forecast, and an area of low pressure is developing off the Outer Banks right in here, and is going to move off towards the northeast at a pretty good clip. A gale is forecast east of New England in here. Seas are going to be building 15 to 18 feet. It's behind that. High pressure is going to build, get us a little northerly surge into Florida, and then as this drifts or moves off towards the northeast, it's going to drag the tail end of that front, and the models are suggesting that a piece of energy is going to pinch off in about 4 days, right about in here, and then start working its way back towards the coast. And that's going to help tighten up the pressure gradient. So that's why, for those of you who follow us on Facebook and Twitter, saw that the possible fun surf alert coming up, setting up next week. We'll show you that in the latest model run. Here's a closer look at that area of low pressure now over the Outer Banks. You can see a little area of spin over here towards the right portion of your screen. The low is actually exiting the coast now. Again, going to move off to a pretty quick pace, but it's what it's dragging behind it out into the Atlantic over the next 3 to 4 days is what we're going to be watching. Here's what the latest afternoon GFS model run looks like, showing you that area of low pressure in here by tomorrow, just southeast of New England. Looks like 15 to 18 foot seas east of Georgia's bank setting up, and that's primarily in a northwest, west, southwest swell. Again, it's behind this, the high pressure building in, that's going to give us that northerly surge into Florida. You can see that on Saturday, the front clears, high pressure starts to build in, light to moderate northeast flow in here, but then on Sunday, things start to change up a little bit. Pressure gradient begins to tighten along the coast. Winds look to be 10 to 15 knots, maybe 20 knots further offshore, and then Gulf of Mexico fans, looks like a decent little east-southeast fetch setting up, and I did see that there's some seas probably forecast 5 to 8 feet in the middle Gulf. We may end up doing a little separate update for you guys over there. But here it is on Sunday. And then when we go into Monday, this is what we're talking about on the backside of Bermuda. Watch how this pinches off. Keep your eye right here. Watch how this pinches off at 96. Which is on Monday, and then when we get into Tuesday, here it comes at us. Now, if you followed our forecast on the previous update, you know we talked about that Azore high setting up a northeast fetch and then turning into a easterly trade wind flow in here for the islands, keeping the islands in east-southeast trade wind flow. And then here is that area of low pressure on the backside of Bermuda. That's going to help pinch the gradient in here. We've got some east-southeast flow going into Florida and then pinching the gradient of some east-northeast winds on the backside of Bermuda. And then as we get into Wednesday, it starts to cut the underbelly of Bermuda in here and north of Puerto Rico. Look at this little pinch in the pressure gradient here. That's going to get some east-northeast ground swell going, or at least it should. Models have not been all that reliable past 96. And then here we are at 168. You can see it moving a little bit further closer to the coast, but then it starts to weaken. Now, it doesn't look like anything tropical at the moment, but there is that possibility. But again, keeping in mind that the models have been really unreliable, in our opinion, outside of 96 to 120. Speaking of which, somebody asked earlier this morning, you know, can we get a time frame? Anytime we use those numbers, plus 96, plus 120, those are in 24-hour or hour increments. So obviously 96 is 4 days, 120 is 5. Anyways, that's all we got for you for now, guys. Stay tuned for the next update.